So when you think of a style guide, you probably think of these 100-page massive documents you end up using about 5 pages of, and that's fine. I'm going to see today if we can generate super quickly a style guide using AI. Just a really quick overview, but I just want to test its capabilities and limitations and see what happens. So let's go. So the first thing we're going to look at is fonts. Now, I've got like 5 different examples from some what I'm hoping is public domain style imagery from retro street directories. I'm going to dump all of these into ChatGPT and see if it can identify the types of fonts or the exact fonts that are being used. There you have it. It's given me a list of fonts that are used across a range of different street directories that are consistent to that period. Now for me, that's kind of cool because I can now ask it to produce a hierarchy of fonts that I could use in an actual production framework. Some of these you might not like, some of them might be a little bit off, but what you can do is kind of refine these fonts out over time. A handy tip here with fonts is you can actually get it to tell you which ones of these are free, which ones of these are Foundry based that you might have to pay for, and even where to download them. I thought that was a pretty cool little thing. So a quick note on AI fonts. When AI is generating things, well, particularly ChatGPT, I can't speak for all of the platforms, it's not using the exact font. It's trying to mirror something that can feel similar but avoid copyright issues, and I think that's kind of smart and probably works in your favor if you're going to copy things straight out of the generation. So you can either keep this font list on hand, or you can go away and download all of these fonts and find them and load them into your document, your style guide, whatever it is that you're producing. A handy hint that I'm going to tell you at this point is that there's actually a pretty easy way to store all this stuff within AI. Store these font titles within this index, and I'll come back to them later. It should generate an index for you. Now you can keep going back to this index over time as you add different elements. So the next thing we're going to look at is colors, swatch sets, palettes, whatever you call them. We're going to see if AI can pick one for us based on our interest set. So I have all of these vintage postcards and I'm just going to put them on one massive canvas and I'm going to dump them into ChatGPT and I'm going to go, please give me a range of different swatch options with 5 colors maximum that I can select from to use within my project. Okay. Now that is pretty remarkable and I like little bits of all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one that's closest to what I'm thinking and I'm going to go back and I'm going to refine it. Okay, ChatGPT, please darken this green, and I've got a pretty good set. Now I'm going to say, okay, please reference this image link, this generation that you've just done in my style guide index. Handy tip with swatches. Now this is a bit of a game changer. You can go, ChatGPT, please export me a palette-based SVG, and it's going to give you an SVG file that you can then open super easily in Illustrator or Photoshop, Procreate, whatever you're using, and copy these colors over. This is the next cool thing that you can do. You can actually run a Python script to create an ASC file that you can directly open in Illustrator or any of your software that you're using, which is pretty sweet. A note on the Python script, you're probably actually going to have a little bit of an understanding of how to run Python scripts, but it's really not that complicated. Get ChatGPT to help you. The next thing that you can do that I found super useful is get it to run your codes for you. So you can go, I want a hex code, CMYK, RGB. You can probably even get it to test spot colors and go run all these values in the index next to the color. And now you're going to have a reference to all these codes so that you can just dump them in a style guide if you want to. This kind of thing was taking me hours beforehand, so that is a real game changer here. Icons. Now we're up to the part where ChatGPT can save you a super massive amount of time. So I'm once again going with something relatively public domain. I have picked a set of icons that are the standard used tourism or wayfinding icons within my district. I've then taken these icons, putting them into ChatGPT, and I've given it a list of other icons I want it to produce in a similar style. And the outcome is awesome. I even did little things like said, can you please add a rough edge to this? Can you make it look a little bit more crafty? And it's kind of picked that up and gotten what I wanted. Now, once you have that base set, it's kind of endless from here. You don't even need to list the icons, just be like, okay, I want another 6, I want another 6, I want another 6, I want another 6 that might be functional in this, I want another 6 to do with food, and it's just gonna keep generating them. And the fun part is you just export these as SVGs, prompt export SVG, and you can open it up in Illustrator. Just isolate the color, remove the color, and you've got a massive icon set in about 15 minutes. I find this part the strongest part of AI style guides so far. So this next part is where AI kind of hits a wall, and this is when it comes to layout. So the issue here is that places like ChatGPT don't fully grapple things like margin, blank space. overlap. So it's going to have some issues when it comes to actually structuring your document. But that's okay, because if you're watching this, chances are you're actually a graphic designer and you can export all of these elements separately and bring them together into one final piece. It's doing a fantastic job of picking up the colors I want, the font hierarchies that I want to use, but it's not quite merging them all together the way that I expected. So what I'm doing is exporting these elements separately, taking them back into Illustrator one layer at a time, and I'm laying them out the way I like. This process can happen in Canva, it can happen wherever you do your layout functions, and I think this is pretty handy. Now, as you can see, once you've got your base done, say I had to create 5 different postcards for 5 different areas, this process really speeds up over time using the power of ChatGPT's memory. So in summary, it's fantastic at identifying fonts, building hierarchies out for you, particularly if you're keen on iterating. It saves a lot of time when it comes to finding these fonts and figuring out where to get them. Secondly, swatches is a bit of a game changer when it comes to the admin side of style guide building. It really pulls all this together quite nicely, presents it visually for you in a quick format, gives you different options that you can look at and rapidly select and prototype which you'd like to use. The next thing that I think that this is so powerful at is icons, building a massive set over time to them, or buying 400 icon sets and having to figure out which of them matches your specific need for that icon. The fourth thing that I think that we found some limitations in is the actual layout component, but that's fine because you're a graphic designer, probably, or someone that works in production, and you probably have a pretty good eye and sensibility for this type of thing anyway. And if you're anything like me, you still want a little bit of control. So that's a wrap for this, and I hope you've learned something along the way. I'm still generating, and I hope you are too, and have a fantastic evening, morning, afternoon, weekend, whatever you've got going on, whenever you're watching this, whatever, good luck, bye.